Okay. So glad to have everyone on the call today. This is basically our coaching call. It's kind of a question and answer and our opportunity to talk and get your questions answered, give you some feedback. I love these study groups each week. So Marjorie, hello.
Hi.
So glad to have you. And then I see V. Kandaganturi.
Vasanta.
Yes, tell me your first name.
Vasanta.
Vazanta. Okay. Vazanta,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. And okay, welcome. So, but Vazanta, I know we've had some Vazantas on the call before. Have you been to our study group before?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're okay. So you're the same. Okay.
Yeah. I came back to India.
Okay. Oh yes, Vazanta. Okay, good. So you were in the States and now your name is showing up different than you usually did before.
Yeah, just now I observed my name showing differently. It's fine.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad to have you back to the study groups and we'll have to chat.
Yeah.
You know.
After a long time.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then Nevin, welcome.
Hello, yes.
Hi. So
Hi.
tell me, have you been to these study groups before?
No, unfortunately, this is the first time.
Okay, well, I'm glad to have you here. Great. So are you new to the program?
I'm not new, but yeah, I wasn't following it really well. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm coming back to follow again. Yeah.
Good. Well, good for you for jumping back in. I know that that's a common thing for our students. Is life gets busy and then we kind of fall off on some of those things that we want to do but have a hard time getting into. And so when you get back into it, we'll give you some strategies of how to kind of make sure that you can stay consistent with it so you can get results. Okay, so glad you're back. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Dragos, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here as always.
Yes, you are a very consistent student. I love it. And then Yasmin, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm glad to have you here. Are you on your phone again?
No, thank God, I'm home today.
Oh, okay. That actually, I was impressed with how well that worked last time with just being on the phone. So, however,
I was impressed too.
Yeah, however you all want to join us, I'm just glad you're here. So, it does work on all forms, we've found. All right, good. And then Joy, I think your microphone is muted, so I'm not sure if you're in a situation that you can't talk, but are you there, Joy?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad to
Yeah.
and
Good. Okay. This will be a fun group today. I'm excited to kind of jump into it. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone so that as we get started, I'm going to go do a little introduction and then we'll jump right into questions. And so as I'm talking, if you have a question you already want to ask or something you want to work on specifically, go ahead and write that in the chat box, or you can do the raised hand icon. So Nevin, since you're new, in the participants, if you click on participants on the lower frame there, you'll see a little button that says raise hand. So you can do that, or if you click on chat, you can go ahead and write in any question you have, or even if you just want to write, I'd like to participate or I'd like to volunteer, then we can do that too. Okay, good. Okay, so right now I'm going to go ahead and share something here. So this week in the United States, for all of you who are in the United States, you're aware of this. And maybe if you're not in the United States, you might be aware of this too. But this week is a holiday we call Thanksgiving in the United States. And so it's a holiday that comes every every November, and it's all about gratitude. So the holiday is all about gratitude. It has its origins with the pilgrims coming to America, and their first crop of after coming to America, and celebrating that and giving thanks and having a big meal to give thanks for all that they have been given. And so it's one of my very, very, very favorite, if not my very favorite holiday here in the States. And because it is all about gratitude and this attitude of gratitude. And so this is actually a picture I just took this morning. It's in my house, this little sayings board that I can kind of put whatever saying I want on there. But this quote that says, "Happiness is not what makes us grateful. It is gratefulness that makes us happy." Okay, and this is, I don't know who exactly said this quote, but Brene Brown, a researcher and author, she talks about this concept a lot. And I've been reading some of her books and love what she has to say about happiness and our thoughts and gratitude, because she's found through her research, she expected to think that, okay, for people who are really happy, they are very grateful. But she found through her research and all of the people she interviewed that it's gratitude, it's that practice of gratitude that creates that happiness, that creates that feeling of happiness for people. And so that is a very empowering concept to me, because it makes happiness something that I can create through my thoughts and through my practice of gratitude. So, and you've probably discovered this, it's almost completely impossible to be in a bad mood or to feel sad when you are thinking about all the things you're grateful for. Okay, and it's a practice. It's something that we can practice doing. And I keep a journal. I'm a very avid journal writer. And I make a point of making sure that I practice gratitude and I write down things that I'm very grateful for. Just about every day. I'm not perfect in every day. So I make sure that I'm recording things that I'm grateful for. And I do this because I know that it's that practice it's that mind practice and making sure that we focus on the good, because our brains are very wired to think about the negative, think about what's not going right. So we have to practice teaching our brain to look for the good. So if you are struggling or kind of have that tendency, which all of us really do, have that tendency to kind of focus on the negative, focus on what is not going well in life, I encourage you to practice gratitude. Try that this week and practice that gratitude. Let's see. So that's kind of my thought today. Dragos is asking, what's the meaning of the turkey on Thanksgiving Day? I have not done research, but based on what growing up and kind of the stories that are told on this, it really just comes back to that original Thanksgiving Day, which was done with the Native Americans. So we talk about, whenever I say Native American, I don't really talk about Native Americans, because Native Americans are kind of the Indians or the native people that lived in America before the Europeans kind of came over, and those pilgrims came over to America. And so it was a Thanksgiving feast between the pilgrims and the Native Americans that were already living here. And from what I know, there was wild turkeys around at that time. And so the turkey is something that they, then killed and placed at that feast and ate at that feast. I don't know if that's historically accurate, to be honest, but those are the stories, stories kind of get passed down generation to generation. And so the turkey on Thanksgiving kind of represents that first meal, that Thanksgiving meal that happened there between the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. Again, we might need to fact check that, but that's my understanding. All right, good. And then Yasmin, yes, good. Yasmin says, I saw Brene Brown's interview on Super Soul Sunday. Yes, wasn't that interview amazing? I absolutely loved that interview. It's there's a two-part series there. And I know that Brene has done a lot more interviews with Oprah, I've noticed. But those Super Soul Sunday interviews are amazing. So if anyone is interested in listening to those podcasts, if you look up Super Soul Sunday, actually Super Soul Sunday is when they sit down, but there's actually also a podcast. I'm forgetting now what it's called, but with Oprah and Brene Brown. And it's a two-part. So yes, the Super Soul Sunday is also when they sit down and talk. And Brene Brown is such a powerful author and speaker. I have been soaking up a lot of her content lately. I really love it. She talks a lot about vulnerability. And one thing that I love about what you are all doing here is you are getting very vulnerable. So it means, you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. You're getting very real and honest and authentic with me in the struggles that you're facing. And in Brene Brown's research, she's really found that as we step into that vulnerability, there's so much that we get out of that. A lot of us walk around very protected, and we walk around and kind of don't show ourselves to others and don't get vulnerable with other people. And in that, there's a lot of opportunities missed. There's a lot of growth that's missed because of that. And as we step into being vulnerable, as you come into these study groups and as you ask for feedback and you look for ways to improve, you're really saying, I want to grow, I want to expand, I want to be better than I am right now. And that's such a powerful growth mindset. And so I'm so proud of all of you for being so vulnerable to be here and to be looking for that feedback so that you can improve and grow. It's such an amazing gift. And practice, I guess I should say practice, just like gratitude is a practice. Practicing vulnerability is a practice. And actually we could practice the word vulnerability because that is quite the tongue twister. Vulnerability. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and let's all practice that. I am going to pull up, where's my blank worksheet? There we go. Okay, I do have a question that Natalie asked, but I don't see her on the call yet, so I'm going to wait. Vulnerability. Okay. That's what, it's not vulnera. We tend to pronounce it vulnerability. Vulnerability. Okay. So maybe I'll have you all say that before you answer your question or ask your question today. Vulnerability. Vulnerability. All right, good. Okay, and we've had a few more join us, so welcome. I'm glad you're here today. So we're gonna go ahead. Yasmin says, yes, we have similar tastes. He says, she was saying she loves the Super Soul Sundae, and Brene Brown says, I noticed that you and I have similar tastes when it comes to those things. Yes, we probably could, we have a lot in common in the things that we like to read and study. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into question and answer. I want to make sure that we are addressing any of your concerns. Elwin, welcome. I have you on mute right now, but we'll go ahead and go ahead with question and answer. If you have a question, you can write it in the chat box, or if you click on participants, you can do the raise hand icon and let me know that you would like to participate. Okay, we are going to start with Yasmin, and I'm going to unmute you, Yasmin. Are you there, Yasmin?
Yes, I am.
Okay, excellent. Okay, glad to have you here again.
Thank you.
And what can we best work on today? What will help you the most today?
So I am having problems hearing the last vowel sound in words like, if you give me 1 second here, because I'm trying to look at the picture, because I took pictures of those words.
Oh, good.
For example, in the word neighbor, so you know how it ends with OR?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pronounced ER. I'm having a difficult time hearing it.
So you're having a hard time hearing even the, so you're hearing nabe, or you're not hearing the
I think I'm pronouncing, because I see an O, I see the O there, so I was pronouncing it neighbor.
Oh, you're with more of an OR than an ER?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Neighbor. Okay, so let's contrast those two ways of pronouncing that word. And tell me where you're living right now, like what area of the state?
So I lived in New York City for a long time, and now currently I'm living in Rochester, Minnesota.
Minnesota, okay. And I love how you just said Minnesota, because it's exactly the way people in Minnesota pronounce it. So so what that tells me is you've acquired kind of that pronunciation of the natives around there. Because let me contrast kind of how people from Minnesota say it and how other people say it. Ready? Minnesota, soda, so it's kind of really more fronted. Minnesota, and Minnesota, so it's kind of further back. Soda, soda, soda. You hear that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I love the fact that you pronounced it the way the natives say it there, because it means you're acquiring that accent, that dialect.
And that's another thing, Annie. So when I was in New York City, living and working over there, I think people seem to be able to understand me better. I guess because there are more immigrants in the city, so everyone is kind of used to listening to different accents and stuff.
Right.
But once I moved here, I noticed that sometimes people would kind of look at me like when I was talking to them, like trying to understand what I was saying. And I think it's because I think in one of your videos you kind of said that the English, like for Central United States, is more standard. And because of that, I think they are having like a more difficult time understanding me. Yes.
Yes, and this is a common problem. So this is something that anyone is going to experience as they come, into the United States. If you go to some of these hot spots like New York City, there's places in Florida, parts in Seattle and Portland where there's a lot more immigrants, there's a lot more diversity. They're used to hearing different accents, and that is because, think of it as you're going through this course, you're learning how to listen, right? You're learning how to listen to the American accent and hear the difference. So you're training your ear. So when people who have lived in these metropolitan cities that are well diverse, they have practice hearing different accents, and their ear gets trained to be able to understand those accents. Okay, so that is a very, it's a lot easier for people to navigate in those areas if they have, an accent, versus other areas. Definitely Minnesota would be a great example of that, where not as much diversity, and they're used to the standard American English accent. That's what they hear on TV. That's what they hear with the people around them. And so they're not exposed to those different sounds or those different accents. And because of that, their ear is not trained for it. So they're going to have a harder time being able to hear that than someone who has more exposure. It's all about that ear training, that listening training.
And I remember thinking like, at the beginning, like, oh, and what's this person's problem? Because, I never had a problem with people understanding me.
Right.
But then after I saw your video, then I was like, oh.
Yeah. So you think that maybe you got worse because when you went, your accent maybe got worse or something, or stronger or whatever when you went to Minnesota, but it's only just because the people there just are not used to it. And
that's
so
exactly what I thought. I was like, how come I'm going backwards?
I've been here for a long time. I haven't had a hard time. So
yes.
You kind of have just to decide for yourself. You could just say, oh, it's their problem, they would change. Or you can say, well, this is where I'm going to be, and I want to be able to communicate clearly and be more effective in, my work and what I'm doing. And this is the situation here. And so what you're doing now to really train and improve, it just benefits you. It helps you. It serves you a lot more than just saying, oh, it's their problem.
No, that's why I'm here. That's why I mean,
Yeah.
like, because I really recognized that I needed it, and only that for me, like a person that speaks really, really well, it's like a big thing to me. Like, I really admire a person that knows how to speak and has like very like good communication skills, and that's basically my main weakness.
Yeah, and that,
because it's not my mother language.
right. Yeah, I'm speaking my mother language, so don't compare. I even feel like even in my mother language, it is such a challenge and takes a lot of practice. Because when I first started doing pronunciation training and doing the videos, I was no good. I was stumbling over my words. I had a lot of filler words. And even now, if I'm not consciously practicing clear communication, I say and so and a lot. I talk in circles a lot. There's a lot that I'm doing that is not purposeful. And so it no matter who you are or what you're doing, it all takes practice. But I'm a big believer that even if we're weak in something or it's not our strength, we can make it our strength through practice. Okay.
Oh, I am set on this. I mean,
Good.
like, I have to.
Good. Okay, so let's get back to that original question with neighbor and neighbor. Okay. Mm-hmm. So there's that OR ending here, but you'll notice that native speakers tend to say ER. Are you hearing OR when you listen to native speakers? Is that what you were saying?
I think I'm hearing neighbor.
Okay.
But I'm saying neighbor because I'm a very visual person, so I think because of that, I have a tendency to kind of pronounce it the way I see it.
Mm-hmm. And that is a good point, and I want everyone to listen to this, is that we have, because, okay, let's kind of back it up. When a child learns a language, they rely more on their listening than anything visual or written, because they are learning, that's how they're learning the language. They first hear it and then they see it. So they learn the language. as I explain this, I'm just going to mute you real quick and then I'll unmute you just to make sure that we, Yasmin, just to make sure it's nice and quiet here. So as a child is learning a language, they're relying on the way they hear the language first, versus when you learn a language later on, it's very visual. You're looking at the words, you're looking at how they're spelled, it's a very visual process. And so we lean more towards the visual and how we see it written instead of how we're hearing it. And what we want you to do, and what I want you to do is to be mindful of that and to think, okay, I'm going to rely more on the listening part than the visual part. What am I hearing versus what am I seeing in the written word? And as we shift that, and it's a practice, just like all of this is, it's a practice to rely a little bit more on that, rely more on the hearing piece and the listening piece than we are the visual piece. And this is why we do the listening quizzes and the listening practice. And I encourage you to listen to native speakers, and we get the rules and then we want to listen for it. How are people using those rules? So I'm going to unmute you again here, Yasmin.
Okay, I'm holding my baby, so just in case you hear anything,
no problem.
And if it bothers everybody too much, you could just jump to the next person.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so one thing I'm going to, so yeah, let's kind of shift that to lean more towards the listening piece. How am I hearing it versus how is it spelled? And so yes, and it does take some training because we are conditioned to say, see neighbor and pronounce it with an OR, but let's kind of pay attention to how people around you are saying it. And really you've been doing that, because even just Minnesota versus Minnesota, there's just that slight difference in the way they use that vowel, and you've picked up on that. And so you've started using that. So I know you have that in you. So we're just going to keep leaning towards that. Do this for me. New York City with a short I, city.
New York City.
City.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm hearing
the first I.
Yeah, it's short I. So I've been hearing CD,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds like more like I have a CD, like a disc CD, and we want it to be city, Sid, city, So that I and that long E is one to definitely review and practice. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I'm going to jump to the next person, but good questions, Yasmin. That was great.
Thank you.
All right, good. All right, let's go ahead and Marjorie, let's go ahead and unmute you. And then we'll go Elwin and Natalie. Marjorie, you there?
Hi, Annie.
Hello. All right, how can I best help you today?
I would like to practice reading, please.
Okay, great. Okay, so I always bring, for those of you who are kind of new, I always bring some reading material. Is there any specific sounds or anything that you are working on, or more the rhythm?
No, because I feel guilty. It's been a while. I'm not consistent with my practice, so I think that's why I don't know where to. It's just like I want to know what's your feedback, and then I will work on it.
So I love it. So Marjorie, that's really good. And I love the vulnerability of being able to say, hey, haven't been practicing. That's good. That's honesty. That's the only way we can improve, is if we're dealing with the truth. And so what I'm going to do, and sometimes when you're jumping back into it, you're not sure what skills have kind of slid back, what skills you've been able to maintain. So the way that you are going about this is exactly right. Just saying, I'm not sure exactly where I should focus, so I'm coming to say, let's figure it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and, since we're talking about vulnerability, where it says, so this is where I learned. So we're going to use the 3 easy tips: slow down, move your mouth, speak up. Okay. So just focusing on that, you don't need to have to focus on too many specifics, but just focus on that and read through for me.
All right. Can you make it bigger?
I probably can. Actually,
It's hard for me to read. I'm sorry.
Let's see, did that help?
I'll just try to read. It's all right.
It might be that, I wonder if you can make it bigger on yours. Are you on a phone or something like that?
No, I'm on my laptop, but for now your video is the same size with the text. But I'll try.
Okay, can you move? Is there a way to move the video a little bit?
No, I think you are the one.
I just made the text bigger, but I'm not sure that it's
Okay, I think that's better.
Okay, so let me see. Okay, so let's start with, and so then I went back to the research.
And so then I went back into the research and spent the next couple of years really trying to understand what the wholehearted, what choices they are making and what we are doing with vulnerability. Why do we struggle with it so much? Am I alone in struggling with vulnerability? No. So this is what I learned. We numbed vulnerability when we're waiting for the call. It was funny, I sent something out on Twitter and on Facebook that says, how would you define vulnerability? What makes you feel vulnerable? And within an hour and within an hour and a half, I had 150 responses because I wanted to know what's out there. Having to ask my husband for help because I'm sick and we're newly married. Initiating sex with my husband, initiating sex with my wife, being turned down, asking someone out, waiting for the doctor to call back, getting laid off, laying off people. This is the world we lived in. We live in a vulnerable sorry.
Yeah, that's what I told you, it was a tongue twister. Yeah.
Vulnerable. We live in a vulnerable world. And one of the ways we deal with it is we numbed vulnerability.
So this numb, the B is silent. So we just do numb vulnerability.
Numb vulnerability.
Good. You're doing well with that very difficult word. Okay, so I'm going to come up with, okay, I was having technical issues through some of it. So, and within an hour. So the H is silent as well. Within an hour.
And within an hour.
And within an hour and a half. And
within an hour and a half.
Good, very good. Okay, and then the ending on, because we stopped here and it was kind of the end of a sentence, we want to kind of stop that sound, make sure it's not dropped. Okay, so do this, waiting for the doctor to call back.
Waiting for the doctor to call back.
Good. Okay, one thing that I'm noticing is with thes, you're doing a great job with the TH sound in other areas, but with the, I'm still hearing a little bit of a D. Okay.
Waiting for the doctor to call back.
So the da 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 is just behind the teeth, and we want it to be the kind of a little the between the teeth. The. Okay.
Can I try one more time?
Yeah. So keep going, and I actually want you to do that again, that section again, and since you've done it one time, I want you to do a little bit more of just like that fluid movement from one word to the next. So linking, really concentrating on that linking. Okay?
So, do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is what I learned. We numbed vulnerability when we were waiting for the call. It was funny. I sent something out on Twitter and on Facebook that says, how would you define vulnerability? What makes you feel vulnerable? And within an hour and a half, I had 150 responses because I wanted to know what's out there. Having to ask my husband for help because I'm sick and we're newly married. Initiating sex with my husband, initiating sex with my wife, being turned down, asking someone out, waiting for the doctor to call back, getting laid off, laying off people. This is the world we lived in. We lived in a vulnerable world, and one of the ways we deal with it is we numb vulnerability.
Very
I'm
good.
repeating my mistake. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's really good. So the first half of it, you got a really good flow. There was excellent rhythm and excellent linking there. And I think that what happened is you got kind of to this place and there were a few words that you weren't quite sure about. And then it kind of, affected then the flow after that. So start here. And when you notice that, did you kind of feel that shift happening where it was really kind of fluid and easy and then it started getting a little bumpy? When you notice that, and this is the part of the daily practice that's important, or almost daily, you know, sometimes we don't do everything daily, let's be honest. Like none of us can do something every single day for the most part. But as consistently as you can, when you're reading out loud, it has to be out loud. When you're reading out loud, when you come up, you kind of feel that flow and things, and then you start getting bumpy, go back to where it started getting bumpy and go through that part again, because that's where we need to really smooth it out and practice. Okay. So start here. Let's see. Waiting for the doctor. I can't remember exactly when it.
Waiting for the doctor to call back. Getting laid off.
Start that one again. So I didn't hear that K again. Waiting for the doctor to call back.
Waiting for the doctor to call back. Getting laid off. Laying off people. This is the world we lived in.
Keep putting it.
I put D.
The world we live in. Yeah.
This is the world we live in. We live in a vulnerable world, and one of the ways we deal with it is that we numb vulnerability.
Very good. Okay, do this for me 5 times. Live in, live in.
Live in, live in, live in, live in.
Okay, good.
This is the world we live in.
Yeah.
We live in.
When you find yourself kind of breaking, your voice breaking, just repeat that combination, those 2-word combination there. So that you get that flow. So here's where you're at right now. You've maintained a lot of really good skills here. Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of good things, especially when you concentrate on the 3 easy tips and linking. I feel like it really flows really well. When you start getting, and reading out loud is going to be your biggest trick, because right now we're just kind of working on that flow. I feel like you know where your mouth needs to be. The is the only sound thing that I was hearing that was a consistent thing, the. So now it's that linking and connecting so we can get that fluid movement. And that is just that practice and repetition of linking and connecting. And when you find that bumpiness, go back and smooth it out and smooth it out and smooth it out. Okay. And as you do that, you will find that fluency will get more, better and better. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Anne.
All right. You're welcome. All right. Good. Let's see. I said Elwin, and then Natalie. Let's see. Let me just make sure. Oh, Natalie had to leave. Oops. Okay, so Elwin, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you. Elwin,
Hi,
you there?
Annie.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
All right, good, excellent.
Good. I feel like, have you been to our study groups before?
I think once.
Okay. Okay. All right, the SH sound. So you were asking about the SH sound.
Right.
Okay, excellent. Let's go ahead. I'm going to move into our worksheet. The SH sound is in our bonus lessons. Have you seen the SH sound in the bonus lessons yet?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and practice some things here. And I don't have the bonus lessons pulled up already.
okay.
But if you have any example word examples, then that.
So let me have a look here. I think something.
Someone was emailing me about some of these words too, where it has S and SH in it. Associate, that can be kind of difficult, even just a pronunciation.
I have shape. I have shirt. I have shoe. Shape.
Yep.
Chef.
Okay.
Shadow.
Keep going.
Yeah. Shadow. Shut. Shut. Shop. Shy. Shampoo. Share. Shave. Shoelace. Shower.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you there. Great job. So that when you first said it, when the first word that you said was a little bit more of an S sound, but then you were able, for the rest of the list, you were able to get that good shh. So the difference.
Shh. I get it.
So it's that rounded lips. Our lips kind of come out.
Shh.
So you're doing a great job with that. So do this for me. Mission.
Mission.
Yeah. Associate.
Associate.
Okay, so that's where it gets tricky, is when you have an S and an SH in it. So, she, it. Do that for me.
Oh.
Associate.
Associate. Associate.
Okay, so do this. She.
Associate.
Good. Associate.
Associate.
Good. Okay, it just requires that control of the mouth to get from one sound to the next.
Okay.
Do you hear do you hear that difference though? Of saying ashoshi versus associate. Yeah, there it is.
Associate.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, how about
associate?
There it is. Yep. Now do pronunciation, because C-A-tion, a pronunciation.
Pronunciation.
Good. Very good. Pronunciation.
Pronunciation.
Yeah, good.
Pronunciation.
Pronunciation. Good. Okay, very good sounds. So what we want to make sure is, as you practice, the sh is sounding excellent. So now when you come up across an S, we need it to be S. But when it's the SH, sh.
I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Good.
Doing really, really well. Okay. So practice that. What module are you in right now?
I think our module 6, or it's regarding the vowel that we have. So this is that I'm learning now. I'm practicing long A and short A, but again, I'm doubt in how to pronounce the H sound. That's the reason why I'm asking to practice to check whether my pronunciation is correct or not.
Yeah, do this for me. S-H.
S-H.
Do it again.
S-H.
There you go. There you go. Okay, yeah, S. Good. Yep, so you're getting the right sound for the SH. Shh. Now it's just kind of that combination of what's around the SH sound. So you can get from that sound to the SH and back to the other sounds around it. So it's just a matter of slowing down so that you can get that connection there. The other thing that I want to make sure that you're aware of is the CH sound.
Yes.
J. A lot of times when our students have a problem with the SH sound, they're also going to have a problem with ch and sh, or ch and j. Okay.
Got it.
And
Yes.
those are, and we write those out in the bonus lessons. Those are this and this. So
Good. Yeah.
j.
Ch
So
and j.
just be aware of that and make sure. Yeah, do that for me again. Ch.
Ch, 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 and j.
Good. I liked how you changed it from, you know, into that voiceless sound. Ch, 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 ch.
Ch,
Yeah.
and ch, j.
Yeah. Good. Very nice. Okay, you're doing good things. I think that keep practicing with that SH sound and keep coming back so we can keep helping you. Okay.
Thank you, Annie.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Excellent. Okay, I've got to lower some hands here. Okay, let me just check. Say. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Natalie, I'm going to go ahead and address your question, and then we're going to go Abby, Vasantha, Nevin, okay? And I know that we only have about 10 minutes. I can go a little bit longer today, but I understand if people have to leave at a certain time, then we'll do that, but I can stay a little bit longer. Okay, so Natalie, let's go ahead and unmute you. You might have to unmute yourself.
Okay, yes. Hi, Annie.
There we go. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, I'm sorry I came in late and then I ran out and then I came back in.
That's fine. I understand that you guys are all working this into your day, and I'm just glad grateful that you're making time for it. So that's great. Okay, so Natalie had emailed me asking about sentence stress, and I think this is a really great question because sentence stress can be a little confusing, and I want to make sure that we're really getting a better, fuller view of what sentence stress really is and how we can practice it. So you had written a question. I'm not going to read through the question. I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, the ideas that you have as far as sentence stress, you're getting the concepts down. And so let's just kind of let's practice some of those so that really how our brains work is we have first time exposure to something, and then we have to have repeated exposure and different ways of explaining it before I think sometimes it really clicks for us.
Yes.
So, and that's how our brains work.
Okay.
So that's kind of how the program is set up. So if you do have a situation where you do need to leave, Natalie, just let me know and we'll adjust. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in module, let's see, what module is this? Module 4, I think it is. We go into sentence stress. And the concept with sentence stress, let me just go ahead and go here. The concept with sentence stress is we have word stress, and so word stress is that there's certain syllable in each word that's stressed or emphasized more than another. Okay. Word stress is very black and white. There's a right and there's a wrong way to do word stress. Right. Sentence stress, however, is very fluid. It depends on what, you know, the word that we stress in sentences or the words that we stress in the sentence depends on our meaning. It depends on the intent of what we're trying to communicate. So as we're going through, I could say, you know, for this sentence, for example, I could say pancakes make a good breakfast. And what that communicates to my listener is pancakes is that because she emphasized pancakes, that's an important concept in what she's trying to say. Pancakes make a good breakfast. So it's kind of like when I hear someone say that, I'm like, oh, it's pancakes, not something else, you know, that I'm really emphasizing pancakes as being a good breakfast. So what we have to do is as we're speaking, we're trying to identify, we do have to identify what is it that we're really intending to get across to our listener. And a lot of times that is the content word. So when we talk about, you know, person, a person's name, a place, you know, an object or a thing that we're talking about, a lot of times those are the things that we emphasize. It's not always the case. You know, the verbs, the adjectives, the adverbs, those tend to be, for the most part, the things that we emphasize. The function words are things that we tend to kind of reduce. Not always, though. So like, for example, a pronoun, if I said, she's coming tonight, she's coming tonight. Coming is our verb. So I'm emphasizing that she's coming tonight. And tonight is is when she's coming. She's coming tonight versus she's coming tonight. She's coming tonight. What that communicates to my listener is that I'm emphasizing she, so I'm really drawing attention to the fact that it's her, she's coming tonight. Okay, so I want you to understand that, yes, content words tend to be the ones that we stress, and function words tend to be the ones that we reduce. But it's one of those things that it's not always the case. It's just most of the time that's the way it is. Okay, so what we have to really do, and this is where English becomes more musical in my mind. It becomes more fluid. It becomes more artistic because we get to choose how we use our words and what we emphasize. So what I want you to do is, let's go through some of these sentences, and I want you to just kind of stress it the way you feel like it would naturally work, and then we'll kind of play around with it. Okay?
Okay. So my problem is, if I give the apple or the day or the doctor, the same pitch, you let me know, okay? Because I still don't hear myself very well.
Okay.
Okay. An apple a day keep the doctor away.
Yeah. Okay. So what I liked is you kind of did a break, and chunking and kind of that concept goes along with it. An apple a day. So you emphasize apple, which is great. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. So this is what happens is you're emphasizing doctor and apple, which is great. That's got a great rhythm to it. So do that one again. An apple a day, and I want you to get that ending S on there. Keeps.
Okay, yes. An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, so that's pretty standard of how you would say that phrase. Yeah. If I were to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, I'm emphasizing the fact that it's every day. Yes. Every day we want to do that. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. So do it.
And that's not wrong either. It's just emphasizing a different meaning in a sentence, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're just showing that through our emphasis, through that sentence stress, we are communicating something through that, that raised intonation, that raised emphasis. There's a meaning attached to that because of the way we raised it. Okay, so raise a day instead of apple for me.
An apple a day keep the doctor away. No, hold on. An apple a day keeps the doctors away.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's how we kind of play around with it to just, we can experiment with how we want to communicate those ideas. Okay, the way that you're doing that, the rhythm that you're using is exactly right. Okay, that's exactly what we would want to hear, and it's very native sounding. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's choose another one. Do number 5 for me.
Yeah. Spending time with family can be stressful.
Okay. So I heard spending time with family can be stressful. Yep. So spending time with family. I would actually spending time with family. So what we're going to do here is, since this is kind of our break there, spending time with family can be stressful. So I would choose one in each chunk to emphasize. So spending time with family can be stressful. So coming here. So I can't do this very well with the tools I have, but there we go. I'm emphasizing more of the family than I am with spending.
Right.
Okay. Because if we go up and down too much, it does sound unnatural. But if we kind of go up on one word in that chunk, then it makes it sound as more natural. So do that again with me and just emphasize family.
Spending time with family can be stressful.
Good. Now just do spending.
Spending.
So So emphasize instead of family.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Spending time with family can be stressful.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm talking about. So let's choose another one. I'm gonna do a longer one. So Christmas and Thanksgiving are my favorite holidays.
So okay, so I'm gonna do that 2 chunks.
Yeah.
Christmas and Thanksgiving are my absolute favorite holidays.
Absolute favorite holidays. And so I'm going to kind of prove myself wrong here because we did emphasize Christmas and Thanksgiving. So you can do Christmas and Thanksgiving and kind of come Christmas and Thanksgiving and kind of come down. You can do Christmas and Thanksgiving. You could do that. It's probably more natural to just choose one of them.
Yeah.
Christmas and Thanksgiving are my favorite holidays. Or you can do Christmas and Thanksgiving are my favorite holidays.
Right.
Okay, so choose one of those and go with it.
Christmas and Thanksgiving are my absolute favorite holidays.
Okay, good. Christmas and Thanksgiving. Come down on Thanksgiving. Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Christmas and Thanksgiving. Christmas and Thanksgiving.
And Thanksgiving. So there's kind of an up and down going on with Thanksgiving, and I want it to come down. Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Christmas and Thanksgiving.
There it is. Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Christmas and Thanksgiving.
You hear the difference between Christmas and Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
Instead of that up and down, we kind of want to smooth it out with that up and over the hill.
Yeah, I can see your hands.
Yeah, so as you're practicing, here's the skill to be able to do it on your own. Find a sentence, cut it, kind of break it apart into the chunks, right? Where are we going to break in that sentence? And sometimes there's just one. Drinking water is good for you. Sometimes it's just one chunk. But break it into the chunks and then identify within that chunk which words I'm really wanting to emphasize. Usually it's just one. Not always the case, but usually it's just one word within that chunk. And then as you're working, maybe I chose holiday, maybe I chose favorite, maybe it's absolute, but as we choose one of them, depending on the meaning we want, what's the important part of that sentence, then, and what's the intent we're getting across, then you can kind of practice getting that up and over the hill, so that flow is coming. Instead of up and down, we're kind of coming around. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so go practice that. And again, just want to emphasize, it's most of the time it's that content words that are emphasized and function words are unstressed. Not always. So use that skill as kind of a framework of just like, I probably will find content words to emphasize, but let's be flexible with that too.
Okay. Yeah, got you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thank you.
All right, good. Okay, Abby, we're gonna go ahead with you.
Hi, Anne.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? So I'm
doing great. I'm doing great.
Good. Okay, how can I best help you today?
Okay. So today I think I want to practice my intonation, but not just my intonation, my falling pitch.
Okay.
When it falls down towards the end of the sentence.
Okay, great. Okay, so intonation, I'm just going to I'm going to go to the lesson in module 5 on intonation, where we're rising and falling, that rising and falling intonation.
No problem. Would I be correct in thinking that when it falls down at the end of the sentence, it means that you're ending your passage or you're ending your sentence?
Yes, absolutely. And you'll actually hear, this is actually a common error that native speakers say, is they'll kind of go up at the end. It's a funny little thing that people are doing that that doesn't sound as as clean and clear and precise. So you might hear native speakers kind of going up in their intonation,
Ah.
like this, instead of, you know, and when they explain things, they're kind of going up. But it's a practice that I would not want you to do. Okay. Okay. So do you want practice coming down on that intonation?
We can also do the chunking and flow as well to get the up rhythm as well.
Okay.
And you can check if I go up, like if I'm getting the correct flow as well.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. So there is, let me do 2 in some of, let's do these first 2. And then we'll jump down to a few of the other examples.
No problem. How many people are coming?
And we got to get that ing, coming.
Tricky bit there. I'm gonna try. Okay. How many people are coming?
Ing.
Sorry. Coming.
Because I'm hearing n with your tongue in front. I want your tongue back here. Ing.
Coming.
Yeah, yep, exactly. And if you have to emphasize that G a little bit more now, you know, we can reduce it later. But if you need to emphasize that G just to get it back there, that's fine.
No problem. How many people are coming?
Good. How many people are coming?
How many people? So can you do it one more time, sir?
How many people are coming?
How many people are coming?
Okay. Do the next one.
Come home right now.
Yeah, right now. Good. Right now. And when it's kind of that emphasis, come home right now, it becomes more abrupt in that ending.
Come home right now.
Yes, good. Okay. And let's do yes or no questions.
Is he on his way?
Yep. And you don't have to do it too, you know, is he on his way? You know, it can be pretty natural there.
He's on his way. He's on his way.
Is he on his way?
Okay, go ahead.
Is he on his way?
Okay, so that came down. Is he on his way?
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 Yeah, there you go. Is he on his way? There you go.
Is he on his way?
All right, good. Next one.
Did he play on Friday?
Good.
Do we want to sit here?
And I like, do we want to sit here? Let's do that.
Do we want to sit here?
So, do we want to sit here?
Do we okay. Do we want to sit here?
And there's also, we can reduce it here.
Okay.
Do we wanna sit here? Do we wanna sit here?
Do we wanna sit here?
Yeah, there you go. And that might feel a little bit more natural. Want to sit. Do we want to sit here? That's a little bit more kind of formalized. Very correct and very easy to understand. But if you'll notice that native speakers a lot of time, do we want to sit here?
Do we wanna sit here?
Good. All right, and then keep coming. I want to practice that up intonation because I feel like that is probably where it's a little bit harder. So come down here.
Are you coming tonight?
Okay, we gotta still work on that. Are we coming tonight?
Are we coming tonight? Tonight. Do you want to go? Do you want that link? What's that? To go. Okay. Do you wanna go? Do you wanna go?
Do you want to go?
Do you wanna go?
Yeah. Do you want to go?
Do you wanna go?
It's almost like it's opening it up. You know, your intonation is opening it up. It's like, do you want to go? Go? You know, are we opening it up for that question versus do we want to go?
Okay.
Do you want to go? You know, kind of closes it down. So I don't know if that helps anything, but
yeah, it does. It does because when you say it, it looks like you expect me to answer.
Yes.
Because the way it goes up, I was gonna answer, then I remembered that you're trying to.
That's what intonation does. That's what that rising intonation does. Is it expects that answer? It's it's that yes or no. We're expecting an answer there. So do it again.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, it opens it up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. And then do one more here.
Mm-hmm. Do you want one or two donuts?
Mm-hmm. Do you want one or two donuts? Yeah.
Do you want one or two donuts? I might drop it. Is it going down on the two?
Yeah, one or two.
One or two.
Yeah,
One or two.
do you want one or two donuts? And that's where we're emphasizing, you know, the one and two is getting more emphasis and stress than the rest of the sentence, because that's the important information. That's that content, you know, that keywords. Do you want one or two donuts?
Do you want one or two donuts?
Yeah, very nice. Okay, I like it. You're doing really good with that rise and fall. And just think about it when it's a yes or no question, or when you rise at the end, it's opening it up for an answer. What you want?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Thanks, Abby.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. And again, if we're kind of over time, I understand if anybody needs to leave, that's perfectly fine. Thank you for coming. But we're going to go ahead with Vasantha and Nevin. Okay, Vasantha.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, it's great to hear you again. How was your travel back to India?
Yeah, it's good.
Good. Okay.
Back to routine.
Back to the routine, yes.
Yeah.
Back to your routine. Okay, good. All right, what can I best help you with today?
I would like to read a paragraph.
Okay, great.
Vulnerability.
The vulnerability. Okay, I like that. Vulnerability. And let's get that connected there. Vulnerability. Vulnerability. Do it again.
Okay.
Here, say that word for me again. Vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Vulnera. Yeah.
Vulnerability.
Vulnera. Vulnera. Do it again.
Vulnerability. Vulnerability.
Oops. Okay, so you're wanting to kind of go fast through this part, and I want you to slow it down. Nra. And it's probably because that L and then the N. Yeah.
Vulnerability. Vulnerability.
Good, better. Vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so I'm going to have you read here, and I think there's evidence. Start there for me.
And I think there is evidence, and it is not the only reason this evidence exists, but I think it is a huge cause. We are the most in debt, obese, addicted, and medicated adult cohort in US history. The problem is, I learned this from the research, that you cannot selectively numb emotion. You cannot say, here is the bad stuff, here is the vulnerability, here is grief, here is shame, here is fear, here is disappointment. I don't want to feel these. I'm going to have a couple of beers and a banana nut muffin. I don't want to feel these, and I know that is knowing laughter. I hack into your lives for a living God.
Okay, all right. So do this for me. Huge, huge.
Huge.
Okay, we want to get that j sound in there. Huge.
Huge.
Okay.
Huge.
Okay, so what I'm getting, I'm hearing huge, huge, and it's more of a sh sound instead of a j. So say this for me.
Huge.
Jump.
Jump.
Jump. So that sound at the very beginning of jump is j. So do this for me. J.
Huge.
Yeah, so huge is going to be huge, and there's actually an invisible Y in there. Huge.
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 Huge. Huge.
And I
Huge.
So do that just alone for me.
Huge.
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 We want to just get a little bit more j. J has a voice sound to it. If it's not voiced, it becomes ch. So we want to get that voice. Huge.
Huge. Huge. Huge.
Okay, and get so in the bonus lessons, have you ever worked on this sound? J. I don't think
I worked on all sounds because I'm in second year alumni.
Yeah. Okay. So j sound is something I want you to go back into the bonus lessons and find this lesson. So there's the j sound.
Okay.
Because jump, you're doing it really well at the beginning of the word. So say this for me, joke.
Joke.
Yeah. So you're doing a really good job of getting that j sound at the beginning of the word. And now I want it to be at the end of the word. So it's that j at the end of the word that I think that might need some help there. Okay. Huge.
Okay. In my next class, I'll work on it.
Perfect. Okay.
I'll
good.
practice. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad we were able to kind of pull out something that I hadn't noticed before. So that's a good one to practice. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Next time, Vedanta.
Okay.
All right. Excellent. Okay, Nevin, let's go ahead and hi, Nevin.
Hi, Annie. Happy Thanksgiving to you and to all of the participants here. Actually, I want to ask you a general question.
Okay.
What do you think it hurt the communication more, like a weak grammar or the bad accent, if I can say? Let me specify, since I'm looking for a job now and I'm going to a professional interview. So since sometimes I get lost in a grammar because I'm focusing to my accent to communicate effectively and correctly.
Right.
What do you think it hurts you as a native American speaker much? If I'm grammatically correct, or is my accent you can understand my accent? So can you let me know what's your opinion about that?
Okay, so there's kind of the short term and the long term plan is what I see. Okay, so short term, if you're like, I'm going into an interview or I'm going into this situation and right now I need to be able to clearly communicate. Okay, do I focus on grammar or do I focus on my accent? You know, being clear on that. My opinion is as you go into that meeting, if you use the 3 easy tips, you know, especially that slow down tip, what it does is it allows you to both get into position, you know, with your mouth. And if you've been kind of practicing your pronunciation, then it really, you know, comes into play. You'll be able to use clear pronunciation and accent there without really having to think about your accent. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you haven't been practicing your accent and practicing pronunciation yet, then still slowing down will help you. But it's that long term, as you've been working on your pronunciation and you go into a meeting, just practice slowing down and moving your mouth and speaking up, and all those things that you've practiced will come into play. You don't have to think about, oh, I have to get the TH sound, I have to get the R, I have to get, you know, I have to get all these specifics. No, I don't want you going into a meeting with all of that in your head, because it is more important for you to focus on the content of what you're saying. So like that grammar piece, how you're saying things, so that you can be as clear as possible in that meeting. So when you go into that meeting, so really to answer your question, slow down is how you work on your accent. You know, that's the only thing you have to think about. Okay, slowing down, moving your mouth, speaking up. Okay, those are the only practices that I want you to do in that meeting. The rest of your energy can go to what's the content? How am I verbalizing that content? the more that you practice speaking out loud in preparation for that. Did you say it was a presentation or a meeting or an interview?
Interview.
Interview. Okay.
Yes.
So the more that you practice for that interview out loud, the easier that grammar piece is going to show up for you. So I just did a presentation on Sunday, and the way that I prepared for that, you know, I had a bullet points. I didn't have it word for word at all, but I had bullet points and I had ideas. And then I took my phone and I recorded myself probably 10 times. I went through that presentation out loud and, you know, examples of things that they might ask you. I said it out loud. I practiced that, slowing down, moving your mouth, speak up, even for native speakers. Those are really good practices. Slowing down, moving your mouth, speaking up. And I focused more on the content of what I was saying. So focusing on that content, coming back to, and I didn't even listen to the recordings very often, but just the fact of it being recorded make me feel like I was on, you know, I had to do it right then, right there, as if it was live. Okay.
Yes.
So does that answer your question?
Yes, actually, thank you.
Okay.
Just also another question, please. Since I don't have a lot of time for practicing, I'm kind of depending more on listening. I don't know if that's enough, do you think? And what the best resources for like listening materials to improve your vocabulary and your accent?
Oh, okay. Really, vocabulary, improving a vocabulary and accent, as long as you're listening to a native speaker that's not speaking too fast, because it does require having time to kind of process how they're saying things and what they're saying. The NPR, let's see. NPR is a good one. You know who I love? And if this is a podcast. Do you listen to podcasts?
Yes. When I'm in car driving.
Okay, excellent. Look up Brooke Castillo. Her thing is the Life Coach School. I have been listening to her a lot lately, and she has amazing things to say. And so you're learning a lot of really uplifting, great mindset type of things. I love her intonation. She's a native speaker. I love her intonation. She uses, you know, great vocabulary. You'll learn different vocabulary there. And the content is just really interesting and empowering, to be honest.
Perfect.
So I would recommend that if you're looking for something to listen to improve those areas. The mindset that you go into the interview is really important. So, and this is something that Brooke talks about, is our thoughts. This is the model she uses. Our thoughts lead to our feelings, which lead to our actions. And so it all starts with our thoughts. So if you're going into the meeting thinking, my English is not very good, my accent is going to get in the way, I'm really, then what feelings does that create for you?
It's stress, actually. Yeah. Exactly.
Stress and worry. And then how do you think you're going to show up in that interview? If you have those thoughts and those feelings, how are you going to show up in that interview?
I will feel like I'm not confident. I'm not comfortable. So yeah.
Exactly. So what thoughts, and we can very much choose our thoughts in how we go about, this interview. What thoughts could you choose that would lead to better feelings and better action, a better mindset or a bit more confidence? So think about the thoughts. What thoughts could you think as you go into that?
Like what thought I have to be prepared?
What thoughts could you choose? So I'm just thinking, if you went into that interview with the thoughts of, I am very qualified for this position, You know, I am the right person. I am the right person for this job. And you know, my English, and I want to confirm to you that your English is very good. You know, clarity and being able to communicate what your ideas are. I don't feel like your accent is this big barrier. You know, sure, you know, there's an accent and there might be words here and there that need to, you know, things that we need to improve on, but it's not your main barrier. You know, it's not really what's going to cause a big problem in that interview. Okay. I think it's more the thoughts that you're coming into, the thought that your accent is a problem. That is the biggest barrier.
Yes, that's actually the good thing. Yeah, to make you like more confident that you are in a good shape. So just like move on. That's sometimes makes a barrier for me because as I told you, I'm looking for a professional position. I'm working with public people, so I'm looking to better, to improve myself much better, because I don't want that to become as a barrier for not like choosing me for that position. So
if you go into it and saying my accent is good, you know, my accent is not the barrier, my English is not the barrier.
Yes.
I am well qualified for this job. I have the expertise to be able to really do this job well. And they're gonna love me. You know, you go in there, they're gonna love me. And
I need to get that confidence.
That you're going into the interview with, what feelings are you gonna have?
Yeah, I will be, as I told you, I will be more confident, more happy, more I will show my qualification in a better way, actually, not hiding behind this fear or this stress.
Exactly, and it's serving you nothing. Okay, so that fear and hiding behind that isn't going to help you show up in the best way that you can. And so I'm going to challenge you. So definitely practice out loud, practice, slowing down, moving your mouth, speaking up, really kind of practice that, because yes, we do need to practice and make sure that we're showing up with our best selves. I also want you to practice writing down the thoughts that you want to go into that meeting with. Okay.
Yes,
and writing them down. It's a very big practice of actually writing down those thoughts and then reading through those thoughts, and even saying those thoughts out loud will help, as you slow down, moving your mouth, speak up, read those thoughts out loud and get your mind in the right spot so that you can show up as your best self for that. Okay.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much, Annie. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yep. All right. Excellent. Okay, we are so over time, but let me go ahead. Okay, Abby is saying, I wasn't really aware of American holidays, so it's good to learn about some Thanksgiving and some of that. So good. I'm glad I was able to share. Okay, Joy, I'm gonna go ahead, and I can't pass up a raised hand, so I'm going to have you go, and then we'll finish right after that. Okay. Hi, Joy.
Hi, Teacher Anne.
Hello.
I just wanna ask.
Yeah.
This is Brock Castillo?
Yeah, Brooke. So it has that just like book.
Brooke.
It has that So if I were gonna write it out in Rudin phonetics, Brooke. Sorry, Brooke.
Like a book. The Life Coach School.
Yeah, so that long O. Coach.
Yeah.
The Life Coach School. Do that again.
Like the Life Coach School.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yep.
So
yeah. So that's a podcast. So if you have an iPhone and you go into, they have a podcast app on the iPhone. I'm not sure what I'm sure there's an app on other smartphones. But if you just search for Brooke Castillo or search for the Life Coach School, you will not be disappointed. It is excellent content, and she has a very clear, way of speaking that I really like.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Teacher Anne, how how, for example, there is an interview, how the interview we handle the interview. It is I need to memorize the content of my resume, like that, and then
So what I would do in terms of preparing the content for your interview is to not prepare it word for word and memorize, but I would have bullet points, kind of ideas that you have prepared and thought through. So like if someone was saying, you know, what makes you the most qualified for this position, you have bullet points, and on those bullet points, you're able to describe, you know, it's just, you know, I'm organized or whatever it is. You have a way of describing some examples of why you are that way. But it needs to be more conversational in an interview. If you're just reciting something, it's very halted, it's very, you know, that connection can't really be there. But in a more conversational way,
from the heart.
Yeah, from the heart is really what makes the biggest difference. Not that you don't prepare, you know, you can definitely prepare and just have ideas and have things that you've thought through so that you're prepared in what you could say, depending on what they ask.
Okay.
But that conversational heart-to-heart connection is really what employers are looking for.
Okay.
They want to know you. They want to get you. So the more you can show up, the better chances you have. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Joy.
Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. All right. Bye, Joy. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I know we went far over, and thank you for being here. And just to sum up, practice gratitude this week. Practice that, you know, looking for the good and seeing the good. Practice those thought patterns. You know, what thoughts are going on in your head that are leading to that lack of confidence? You know, can we change some of those thoughts? Definitely we're changing our skill sets and things, but can we change some of those thoughts that we have about ourselves so that we can show up in our very best way? Okay, so I thought that was a really good question that we had about talking about our thoughts and how to prepare for some of these situations. And actually, I'm excited for 2019 because we have a lot of good things coming in to the Pronunciation Pro course, some mindsets, some, you know, more motivational aspects. And I'm excited to kind of infuse that into the Pronunciation Pro course, because I do find that as we're working on communication skills, as we're working on pronunciation and fluency, there's a lot of mindsets that need to be adjusted and things that need to be worked on so that we can show up with confidence and show up as our very best selves wherever we are and whatever we're doing. So I'm excited for what we kind of have in the works here. Okay, thank you everyone. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye now. Oh, I'm gonna unmute everyone. Say bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right. That helps me feel closer when I can hear all your voices. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.